Good morning to all of you. I'm so glad to see you. I was thinking on my way here this morning that it's just 10 years ago that I got re-involved with Brooklyn College. I had met a friend for lunch in May, and she said, and she was a year ahead of me, she graduated in '57, and she said, I just went to the 50th anniversary of Brooklyn College, and she said it was so fantastic. And it was a long time. I don't know about the rest of you, but I graduated from here, and I started teaching, and then I got married and moved to Pennsylvania, and then to New Jersey, and then back to New York. So I had lost touch with Brooklyn College. And 10 years ago, when the notice came to join their 50th reunion committee, I had Jean's word, and so I joined, and I've been involved ever since. This is a fabulous day. If it's your first time here, welcome. If you've been here before, thank you for coming again. And plan on about the third Sunday of September. It bounces a little bit because Rosh Hashanah gets in the middle there sometimes. So know that around the third or fourth Sunday in September, you want to come back. It is unbelievable that our colleagues and graduates of Brooklyn College, what they have done and achieved. And you will be amazed. My husband is from Philadelphia. He went to college there. His friends did. And he tells them all the time he looks forward to this day, to meeting all the people that come here and share what they have done in their lives. The college to me is pretty much the same. Boylan Hall is there, and Ingersoll. And when we were here, now it's ancient history, we called the library building LaGuardia Hall. But now, somebody told me they just refer to it as the library. Or maybe they should refer to it as our first president, not the first president, the president that was there when we were here, because he was an amazing man. Harry Gideon, remember that name? Harry Gideon strode into a room and the world listened. And he made Brooklyn College pretty much the wonderful place that it still is today. So thank you so much for coming. Thank you to the honorees that you're going to meet today, and I know that you are going to be so impressed with the things that they have done and achieved. At this point, I would like to introduce you to I can't read without my glasses. The beauty of getting old, right? Whoever said it was the golden years? If you're not there yet, if you haven't reached the 70 mark, enjoy every day till you get there. Okay. Now, before Roberta, I want to introduce you to Ella Weiss.
Welcome. I'm Ella Weiss. I'm president of the Brooklyn College Alumni Association. Thank you, thank you. And welcome home. This is home for all of us. On behalf of the Alumni Association and our alma mater, I think that you'll see the campus is as beautiful as ever. If you didn't have a chance to see it earlier this morning, do take a stroll on the quad, the lily pond. It's magnificent. It is just a star. People come here and cannot believe they're in the middle of an urban city in the middle of Brooklyn, but that's Brooklyn College. We're here to celebrate many things. We're here to celebrate you, your years of accomplishments after graduation. They're so impressive. You've done so much. It's hard for us to pick which ones to honor each year, but know that the decision is made with great thought and that there are so many others that are deserving of the honor as well. You are the only non-transient constituency of Brooklyn College. Students become alumni, faculty retire or move somewhere else, but you, as an alum, are forever. So we will hold you to that. We will make sure you remember that you are here, connected to your alma mater. The Brooklyn College Alumni Association's mission is to make sure that that happens. We endeavor, using many, many tools, to keep you informed, to keep you connected, so that you are our ambassador wherever you may be. I constantly hear stories from people about, I was talking to so-and-so somewhere else, it could be anywhere in the world, and they come back to Brooklyn, and very often back to Brooklyn College. It's a link for over 130,000 alumni that we have worldwide, and we endeavor to make sure that that connection stays strong. How do we do that? Well, we communicate with you via email if you have it. If you don't have it, you can tell us and we'll do snail mail. If, however, you have it and we don't know, please let us know, or if there is a member of your family who handles that for you, let us know so that we can get to you and keep you informed about what's going on. We're on social media, all of the different platforms that you can name. I'm not very familiar with them, but our staff is, and the younger students are, and so we use them very, very frequently to great advantage. We hold events. We have a website. So there are lots of ways for you to find out what's going home, back home. We host events like this. We host an annual awards dinner. It's on October 26th. We will give a different kind of award. I hope you will try to join us. The invitation is in the mail, and we would love to see you back again. We also have chapters. Chapters are groups that are organized by geography. Ron Gold is here. Ron is head of our Florida chapter. Ron, where are you? I know you're going to be recognized later, but that's an example of somebody who works with us in Florida to keep Brooklyn College alumni connected to each other. We have chapters all over the metropolitan area. We have chapters elsewhere. We also have affiliates. The Masters of Fine Arts and Arts Administration program has an affiliate. That's around an interest. We have the millennials. That's around their interests, that their activities and their desires to do things may be different than ours are. And by the way, when I say ours, I'm a member of the post-50th, so I consider us peers in that way. In the spring, we have our annual meeting. And that's very important, not only to keep you posted and give a report about our year and how we're doing, but also because we give out our student awards. The Brooklyn College Alumni Association has its own awards application and an awards committee that goes through, last year, 95 applications from students who provided service to the community and or service to Brooklyn College. Last year, we gave out 10 awards of $4,000 each. Now, knowing that tuition is around $6,000, that we have students who barely can buy a MetroCard sometimes, who have trouble really staying in school, have to take a term off sometimes because they don't have the funds to continue. These awards are most important to them. And so we're thrilled to be able to give them out every year. The Brooklyn College Foundation gives out many, many more, and we're grateful to both Bernie Garrell and Ed Cohen, who are here from the Brooklyn College Foundation, and all that they do in that regard. This is our small part of trying to help students. And if you make a donation to the Brooklyn College Foundation, you can earmark it for the Brooklyn College Alumni Association Awards. Either way, it helps the students at Brooklyn College. So I hope I see you at the annual meeting. Our students today are much like we were, earnest, eager, vital, vigorous, really yearning for that education, the one that Brooklyn College can give, one that is extremely excellent, has a faculty that's superb, has a campus that's a delight to be on, and a motivation that is behind what Brooklyn College does, serving its students as best as it can, with the limited resources, by the way, nowadays, but nevertheless doing an incredible job, and we hear it from students all the time, how grateful they are that Brooklyn College exists and that Brooklyn College is available to them. They're first-generation students, perhaps. They come from families where they also work. They come from families where they may be a family of their own, aside from their parents or guardians, where they have children, where they go to school at night, on weekends, online. They're incredible, and we are grateful that they're here. You'll meet a few of them later, but we really are thrilled to have students as part of our future alumni base. I'd like to mention some of the people who make the Alumni Association work. We have 38 members, and I'd like to call out those who are here today. So later on, when you're walking around lunch, you can go over and say hello and say, what do you do? What is it like to be a member of the Brooklyn College Alumni Association Board? Some will have a good answer or a full answer. Others are brand new, and they'll say, I'm going to learn. That's what I'm going to do this year. So Harriet Brathwaite, Dominique Carson is here, Agnes Ford, Francine Kornfeld, Arlene Lichterman, Milga Morales, Martin Schreibman, E.J. Sims, Elliot Wassa, Rhoda Jacobs, Roberta Wallach, E.J. Sims, which I already said. Anybody I missed? Ron Schweiger, sorry, and I talked to him before. Please just raise your hand so people see you. Come on, you're here. We are indebted to you for your work, and everybody will want to meet you later. This is the first year that I'm president of the Brooklyn College Alumni Association, although my affiliation with the association goes back to 1985. That's when I was working at the Performing Arts Center and was asked by then President Hess to come across campus and work in the alumni office. I was there till 1992, and Marla Schreibman, who I had hired as a college assistant in about 86 or 87, took over as the director of the alumni office and had that position for many, many, many years. So I have a history of Brooklyn College, a history of being involved with alumni, and a history of being involved with the college. I live not far away still. People ask, where do you live? 10 blocks due west of the college. With us also is somebody who is newer to Brooklyn than I am and newer to the college. This is her second year as president. She's formerly the dean of the CUNY School of Law. She oversaw a period of great renewal and transformation there, and we know she is doing that here. She's a graduate of the University of California, Santa Cruz, and received her JD from Yale Law School. She's a prominent scholar in the field of sexual assault with numerous publications and awards to her credit. We are fortunate to have her visionary leadership and unwavering dedication to higher education, which is what this is all about. As our president, we know that's her focus, that's her passion, if you will, and we are delighted. So I hope you join me, because it's a privilege for me to introduce to you somebody you don't know yet, but will know well, our president, Michelle J. Anderson.
And thank you for allowing me to bring greetings to you on what's increasingly a beautiful day. The sun is coming out. It's gorgeous. And I want to begin by, as Ella did, welcoming you home. The campus may have changed since you graduated, but it is still your place. It is your intellectual home. It's the place of your, I know college was for me, a place of intellectual dawning, and a place that will always be special in your heart. I want to thank Ella Weiss for her tireless work as president of the Brooklyn College Alumni Association. And I want to thank the many members of the Alumni Awards Committee, in particular Grace Harold Hughes, for her work chairing the important committee that selected these worthy recipients. And I want to congratulate all the terrific alumni awardees who are receiving gratitude and celebration today. This is a happy occasion that we can formally acknowledge you and tout your incredible contributions to your communities, your respective fields, to the college. It's wonderful. Today is an opportunity to celebrate you, but it's also an opportunity to look back on the past. So I want to look back on a couple things that happened when you graduated, when a number of you graduated. First, I want to just mention Dorothea Bellafiore, who's a new, very close friend of mine, who is here from the graduating class of 1939. Dorothea came up to me and said, "Do you know how old I am?" And I said, "No, ma'am, I don't." And she said, "I'm going to be 100 soon." She's fantastic. She's fantastic. Way back in 1939, a gallon of gas cost 10 cents. Do you remember that, Dorothea? And Judy Garland's Over the Rainbow topped the charts. The 75th reunion class of 1942 is also here. There are representatives here. In 1942, two classics came out, Bambi and Casablanca. The average cost to rent an entire home was $35 a month. Would that were true today. The 70th reunion class of 1947 is here. At the time in 1947, a postage stamp was 3 cents, and Jackie Robinson took to the field for the Brooklyn Dodgers. The 65th reunion class is here from 1952. Singin' in the Rain began. It premiered at Radio City Music Hall, and the cost of a new car at the time was $1,700. The 60th reunion class is here from 1957, and there were so many good songs in 1957 that it's hard to select them. Remember You Send Me by Sam Cooke? Unforgettable. And then there's that one, Jailhouse Rock by Elvis. Eggs at the time were 24 cents a dozen, a little different today. And then the last one here is the 55th reunion class of 1962. The average cost of a new home in 1962 was $12,500. West Side Story that year took home 10 Academy Awards, well deserved. And then the first Beatles song was released. Anyone know it? Love Me Do. Quite different from their later work. Like Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds or something like that. So I began my work, as you know, as president here just a little over a year ago, and it didn't take me long to see why this place is so special to the faculty, to the students, and certainly to the alums. This is a place where alumni want to remain close. It really does feel like home for those who have remained close to the school. Like all of you, the faculty, staff, and students really love this place. They use the word love when they talk about this place. They're proud of the beauty of our gorgeous campus. They're proud of the college's reputation for academic excellence. They're proud of the diversity of the student body and its inextricable place in the history and evolution and cultural fabric of the borough of Brooklyn. When President Franklin Roosevelt laid the cornerstone of Roosevelt Hall, of the gymnasium in 1936, he said he hoped the college would, quote, live through the generations to come for the building of a better American citizenship, end quote. It's a noble ideal, this vision that Roosevelt had. It continues to be realized. Your accomplishments as alums are perhaps the greatest testimony to the value of Brooklyn College. And when I look at the distinction each of you has brought to your respective fields, it is tremendous. You're about to see some of that today. The commitment you demonstrate to your alma mater and the distinction you have brought, I see this engaged citizenship that Roosevelt spoke of at its finest. I want to end my brief remarks with an apology. I have a 9-year-old daughter, and I can't stay for the full program today. So this little 9-year-old girl, Avon, I need to go pick her up because she's completing a 2-night sleepover with her best friend. And as her mother, I have a little bit of anxiety that she may have worn out her welcome. They took a trip to the Renaissance Fair yesterday. Right? A 2-night sleepover is a gift to any mother, as you know. But they took a trip, and I know that my daughter fancies herself a knight in shining armor. So Lady Avon, or Knight Avon of Westminster, calls, and as her humble handmaid, I must go and attend to her. I trust that you understand. So all of life, for many of us, is this balance between your personal life and your professional life, and I am so thrilled to have both robust in my life, and I hope that's true for each of you. It is my hope that each of you alums will continue to stay close to Brooklyn College. We cherish you. We thank you for the wisdom and insight you've brought to the larger world and back here at the college. I want to thank you all for a beautiful day. I hope you have a terrific ceremony today, and thank you for letting me speak.
All right, we're going to begin our presentation of awards, and Roberta Black is going to, Roberta Wallach. I just made the singer out of you, right? Okay. Please come up to share your part.
I got out of Brooklyn quite a while ago. In fact, my daughter mentioned a very interesting fact. I'm a graduate of 1953, first time, and you can all figure out, here I can't lie about my age. That's it. But, and I am now president of the campus chapter of Brooklyn College and a member of the board for many years and past president of National Alumni. I graduated Phi Beta Kappa, magna cum laude, but my real claim to fame, always, never will change, is that my 4 children also graduated from Brooklyn College. And although I am now a Manhattan resident, I will always have Brooklyn in my heart, especially the Brooklyn Dodgers, even though they're other Mets now. Okay. It is my pleasure to introduce some of the members of the Lifetime Achievement Award. First, I would like to ask George Schindler, class of '52, to please stand. George is a talented musician, actor, theatrical consultant, comedian, and author. He has appeared in a Woody Allen movie and performed worldwide. His work has been acknowledged with many awards and honors, including being elected to the Society of American Magicians Hall of Fame. George Schindler.
Joe tells me it's something called Wikipedia. I like to look at all of your kids, most of you. You were only one year behind me, wasn't it? And it's nice to see all you kids coming back to celebrate our great thing. I majored in English and education. I also majored in the lounge. The student lounge gave me more of my education in how the world is going to be than my English and my education. As a kid, you always wanted to do something special. I wanted to be a writer. I wanted to be a teacher. But I wanted to be a magician. Who ever thought I would get all 3? And Brooklyn College helped me do that. There's a man named Professor Grabanier. I don't know if you ever remember him. That man took my words and taught me how to put them together so that I was able to write 14 books. You can't read them because they're all technical and they're all teaching magic tricks. Oh, I got free stolen print for the public. I'll tell you about that some other time. And I want to thank all of you because I have no idea. I should have been more active. I live not too far away, but I travel a great deal. If you saw my act, you'll know why I have to keep moving. It's nice to see all you kids here again. A lot of people say, you know, what can you tell a kid when he wants to go into show business? The first thing I offer is get a good college education, then go out and follow your dream. I did, and it worked. And thank you so very much for this honor, and hey, book me, I'm still around.
The next honoree is Shirley Yanushevsky-Cohen, class of '57. Shirley was a faculty member who served in a number of administrative positions at Hunter College for nearly 40 years. She also co-developed the ASD NEST program, an inclusion program for students on the autism spectrum.
A couple of days ago, I wrote some words to say to you today, but when you hear what I say first, you should know, I didn't crib it from the president of the Alumni Association. Okay. When I look back at my time as a student at Brooklyn College, I realized how lucky I was to have been a student then, when the world around us was supportive and generous to its young people. when the absence of tuition at CUNY, together with a New York State Regents Scholarship, enabled a young person like me, whose family was quite poor and whose father was dying, to complete a fine education in 4 years. That atmosphere of encouragement, support, and generosity helped me build a foundation for my life as a teacher, faculty member, and administrator at CUNY for almost 40 years. Early in that period, when I was still a doctoral student, I returned to Brooklyn College as an instructor for 1 year in a graduate program, and it felt good to be back at Brooklyn College again, as it does today.
Our next honoree is Edwin H. Cohn, class of '62, a principal in Prism Capital Partners, LLC, has been prominent in the real estate brokerage community for more than 50 years. He has been a Brooklyn College Foundation trustee for 22 years and served as chairperson of the board from 2013 to 2017.
Well, one of the greatest flukes of nature got me to Brooklyn College. I was convinced at a very early age that I was going to be an engineer, building bridges, roads, tunnels. Had an uncle who was very much admired in the field. And the fluke of nature was that CUNY, not known as CUNY at the time, their engineering school was uptown Manhattan. But you had the ability to go to Brooklyn College for your pre-engineering courses. Well, after my first semester of taking my engineering courses, and pardon me if there are any engineers or scientists in the room, being the somewhat extroverted type of individual, I looked around the room and I said, oh my God, I'm not going to be able to spend my entire life living and dealing with these people. My brother had gone into the real estate business, sounded fascinating, but I loved being at Brooklyn College. Brooklyn College did not have one business course to offer anybody. But what I did was I completed the pre-engineering for 2 years. And my third and fourth year, I became a freshman. I took all the core courses. I took all of the things that, everybody takes in their first 2 years. And I loaded up on economics courses. I think I took 13 economics courses over the 2 years. Graduated, loved it. I attribute the education that I got at Brooklyn College to the successes I've achieved in my life. And I must tell you that I have been paying back for the past, I think the bio is a little off. I think I've been on the board for 25 years now. And for the last year, last number of years serving as the head of the foundation. And it has been a joyous ride. I'm in love with this place. Everybody around me knows that I bleed Brooklyn, okay? Literally, even though for the past 25 years I've lived in New Jersey. Maybe it's 35 years. And I make the commute all the time, and this is not my first or second time at the campus. I've probably been here, as much as the 4 years that I spent at the college. And I am very honored to be recognized by the Alumni Association. And I wish you all a great day for the following year. Thank you.
Bernard? Oh, okay. Bernard has had a long career on Wall Street that has included service on committees of the New York Stock Exchange, the Securities Industry Association, and the National Association of Variable Annuities. He also serves on the National Board of the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society and has been a Brooklyn College trustee since 1997.
First, let me thank the Alumni Association for this great honor. Very much appreciate it. And what I'd really like to thank is Brooklyn College. I came from a family that could not afford to send me to college with any tuition, forgetting about high tuition. And Brooklyn College gave me the opportunity to get a college education. It also gave me the rest of my life in a lot of very interesting ways. After the college, I planned on going to graduate school with my goal of joining the Securities and Exchange Commission. I couldn't afford to go to graduate school, but somehow or other I got accepted to the University of Chicago, Graduate School of Business. And at commencement, Manny Cohen, who was then an SEC commissioner, learned from Professor Louis Fire, who some of you may remember, of my interest in joining the commission staff. And next thing I know, 2 weeks later, I get an unsolicited offer to join the SEC. And no need to go to graduate school to get the job that I wanted, had it, and he mentored me, and whatever success I had at the commission, I owed to Manny. Somewhere down the road while I was at the commission, Don Kramer, who I believe is the class of '58, I met. He was head of the Brooklyn College Alumni and Finance at the time. And he ended up introducing me to the people at Oppenheimer and mentored me there. And I spent the rest of my career with Oppenheimer. Like Ed, I've been on the Brooklyn College Foundation. And my wife and I, unfortunately, lost both of our children to cancer, its side effects. And we've dedicated our lives to the fight against cancer. And we've created several programs, research programs and the like. But the one thing that has given us the greatest pleasure has been a program which we established where we send 2 students every year, students who want to go on a career in cancer research, 2 to Johns Hopkins and 1 to Dana-Farber. Those students have been phenomenal. I know a lot of people look and say, school's not what it is. I can quote people at Hopkins who said, and this is one of the top oncologists in the country, I wish I was as smart as those kids. I recently got an email, and hopefully I can read it here. This is from the Chief of Staff Emeritus at Dana-Farber Cancer Institute in Boston, where we had 1 intern this year. The Brooklyn College woman was one of the best summer students ever from anywhere. And from anywhere, given that this in Boston, includes Harvard and MIT, where most of those interns and summer students go. So in almost every one of the interns have gone on to medical school. Many of them have already graduated. And it has been such a pleasure in 2 ways. One, to see them succeed, but also to see the impact they've had on the reputation of Brooklyn College. And I think that quote tells it all. And most important of all, I want to thank my wife, Ethel, my wife of 52 years, who, without her, I wouldn't be here standing here today. Thank you.
Our next honoree is Ronald B. Gold, also class of 1962. Ronald is a retired economist who worked on national and international projects ranging from tax systems and pension reform to preparing for entry in newly created markets when the Berlin Wall fell and the Soviet Union collapsed. For the last 6 years, he has been president of the BCAA Palm Beach County chapter. Ronald Gold.
You can't be totally spontaneous anymore. Pardon me for the paper. First, thanks very much for this award. It's very satisfying to have some of the things I've done over my adult working life acknowledged as achievements. It'll also serve as ammunition against my family and friends who sometimes wonder what, if anything, worthwhile I've done over the years. I want to supplement the official record by highlighting 2 lifetime influences from my days at Brooklyn College. The first started one evening in November 1961 when, after working in Macy's rug department, I went to a party in my house plan, which at that point had a basement, not too many blocks from here. There I saw a beautiful young woman. I did what we did at such occasion. We put on a Johnny Mathis record. We kept for just such moments. Went over and introduced myself to the woman who became my future bride. The rest, 4 children and 10 grandchildren later, is, as they say, history. The second is Professor Melvin I. White, my first economics teacher at Brooklyn College, whose enthusiasm for the subject inspired me, while his interest in me started me toward my eventual career path. About 45 years later, I met him in Florida, where else, and he remembered me, or at least put on a very good act of remembering me, and appeared as interested in me as ever. Finally, Brooklyn College gave me and many of my generation a big leg up in life, and our chapter members collectively and individually make contributions to the college to make sure that it continues to do so for future generations. Thank you.
Now my pleasure to introduce the next presenter. The next presenter is Adele Hoffman Cohn, class of '64. Adele is a retired teacher, attorney, and New York State Assembly member. Well, I got her on the first 2, but not the third. And a member of the Post-50th Alumni Awards Committee. Adele, pleasure.
They make these podiums too high. In our house, we say he's a nice guy, even if he's tall. The first honoree I'm presenting to today is my pal, my sister, Rhoda Schwartz-Jacobs, class of '62. I need a box, but you know. Rhoda is a retired New York State Assembly member. 36 years she served Brooklyn in Albany. She is a survivor. She sponsored and enacted landmark legislation. She was a founder of the first child care center for the children of Brooklyn College students. And that became a model for CUNY. In 1993, she was the Brooklyn College Alumni Association Alumna of the Year, and she recently became a member of our Board of Directors. My special thanks.
A beam, and there was a special pull-out thing, or they called it the beam box, so we could stand on it. Thank you. And Adele and I, we fought a lot of good battles together. I want to thank you all. And I sort of thought when explaining this about why I was getting an award, I said to some people, well, you know, I'm still here. I discovered I'm still here, and I don't live too far away. As a matter of fact, I've never gotten very far away from this campus, despite the travels. I knew one thing. I was raised with one thing in mind. My mother was the only woman I knew that had gone to college. And I knew I had to go to college, and I had to go to a public college, because there was, you know, who had money for anything else? Whether it was in my work in the legislature or here today, or why, by the way, I joined the board, which I have to thank Elliot for nudging me. is that I could see, especially in the legislature, you see what influences the power structure, if you want to call it that, what influences the budgets, legislation, and so on. And I feel very strongly that the mission of public education, mission of CUNY, has to be pushed and spoken for in all those places, because the Princeton alumni can be very important and very influential. The Ivy Leaguers can be influential. There's no reason why the hundreds of thousands of those of us who have benefited from that wonderful concept, free public education. Okay, it's not free now, but certainly cheaper than I know, because I paid the 3 kids, you know, as they went to university. I want to thank you all for the award, but I want to thank Brooklyn College for what it has given to me. One of the things I really learned is that it was never your major. It was learning to learn and how to use that. So for that, I am grateful, and thank you.
He's a rebel. He's not sitting in his assigned seat. Blaming someone else.
It's like when I go to the theater.
Look how big it is. A distinguished professor emeritus of theater at Brooklyn College and the CUNY Graduate Center, and who served as chairperson of the Brooklyn College Department of Theater. How many years?
That was only about 4 or 5 years.
Then
I decided to retire.
He's a voting member, though, of the New York Drama Desk Awards, has authored several books, and he also blogs theatrical reviews. So today I am very proud to present this award. Mr. Leiter, class of '62.
The best awards are the unexpected ones, the ones you don't have to worry about whether you're going to get them and whether you'll be able to refrain from showing your disappointment when you don't. Receiving this honor was for me like winning the Tony, without the stress and the suspense. So I therefore thank the Brooklyn College Tony Award Committee for honoring my performance in the role of a striving Brooklyn College theater student struggling to pass science and math between 1958 and 1962. And like in one of those biographical movies, for having followed my career as a Brooklyn College theater professor for the next half century. I want to thank everybody who came here today. I want to thank all the other awardees, my friends from Brooklyn College who acted on the Gershwin stage with me back in the day, some of whom surprised me by their presence, like my friend Richard Furman, the set designer, lighting designer, Mimi Turk Marr, who was in the original cast of Carousel, believe it or not. It is going to be a show that's going to be revived. I wish they could bring Mimi back for that one. For my friends, the Stricklers, who are going to be awarded right after me. And Larry and I share some wonderful experiences for getting to make our entrance in the show. And my former colleagues and those on the staff as teachers and as administrators, like my friend Marla Schreibman, and especially to my wife, Marcia, who I began dating when we performed opposite each other as Portia and Bassanio. I was Bassanio, she was Portia, in the Merchant of Venice almost 60 years ago. So thank you to everybody.
It is a privilege to stand before you, all of you, so distinguished. The next awardees are a team. Rochelle Singer-Strickler, class of '62, is an award-winning broadcaster who is an anchor and reporter at WOR Radio for more than 25 years. She led the way for other women in radio and television, a real pioneer, so I admire you tremendously. Since retirement, Shelley presents lectures which enlighten and entertain audience on various aspects of the media. And with her is her husband, Lawrence Strickler, also class of '62, a vintage year, huh? And he's an educator who served as assistant principal at Edward R. Murrow High School. He's also an entertainer who for more than 50 years worked summers and weekends in the Catskill Mountains resort areas, and since retirement, he continues as a multimedia lecturer.
Everybody, I'm about to get into trouble with this first statement. There's an old joke that goes, college never hurt a guy unless he happened to meet his future wife there.
Excuse me?
Let me explain. See, we're honored, as a joint venture to get this award. But this wouldn't have happened except for a very fateful day. The day was September 22nd, 1959. It was our second day as sophomores, and we met in class in the Gershwin building. Speech 15. Sam Leiter, where are you, Sam? Speech 15, Introduction to Acting.
The instructor, if you remember, was Professor Catherine Myers, and she gave me an A.
I should have gotten an A.
I didn't know it when we met, but I had actually seen Larry when I was 10 years old and he was 10 years old. Larry was a child star, and he used to appear on the Milton Berle show, Texaco Star Theater, and you remember that there were 4 guys, older men, who sang a commercial for Texaco. Well, a couple of times there were 4 little boys, I don't know if you remember this, and they would sing the Texaco song. And I remember seeing that and saying, boy, the little boy second from the right is really cute.
Oh, we're the men of Texaco, we were coming to
And then,
there's more.
in 1958, to continue on that vein, when I was a freshman at Brooklyn College, and I hadn't met him yet, I went to, with a date, not him, to see a production of Girl Crazy.
George Gershwin's Girl Crazy.
Yes, George Gershwin, the history person, he always has to get it exactly right. Okay, and I was on a date, and I remember saying, who is that talented singer? And boy, he's cute.
That was me. Embrace me, my sweet embraceable you.
All right.
All right.
I should mention that Larry also appeared as Curly in Oklahoma a few years later.
Oh, what a beautiful morning. Oh, what a beautiful
Wait, excuse
day.
me. He was Curly.
A wife and 3 daughters? Go ahead.
We were both in Varsity Players. Sam mentioned that. Sam was in Varsity Players with us. It was a wonderful 4 years. If we had gone into theater like we originally presumed, it would have been, and we would have been great because we got the greatest education here at this school. Some of those professors that we had, Skipper Joe Davidson, Bernie Barrow, Wilson Lair. I mean, this really was I don't know if any, I don't care what school it is, had people like these. But
I was a history major.
And I was a speech and English major, but we both minored in education. And a lot of you might remember this expression because our parents would always say to us, if you didn't quite make it in the career you're preparing for, you could always become a teacher to fall back on it. And we did.
Now, Shelley graduated cum laude on the dean's list, but her greatest educational achievement was editing my term papers. And I'm going to tell you something now that is absolutely the truth. It's embarrassing to say. She used to edit my love letters.
Okay, it's true.
Now, I never imagined that I would end up being a broadcast journalist while I was in college. In the 50s and early 60s, there were virtually no women doing serious news broadcasting. That happened later, in the 70s, when women started entering. I had been teaching, and I said, you know what? I want to do this. I want to be a broadcaster. And I'll tell you something, it really started in Brooklyn College. Even though there were no courses to speak of, there was a television broadcasting course at that time. And I took it, and I don't remember if there were any other girls, but there was just one or two. And I think I loved it because I loved it, but also because I was the only girl in the class.
Never thinking in that era that a woman could be a radio or television newscaster. It was unheard of in that time. We graduated in 1962. 13 days later, we were married. And within 4 to 5 years, we had 3 children, identical twin daughters, and my baby daughter. And where is she?
My baby daughter is over there taking video of us. The truth is, as we wrap up, and everyone who is up here has said this, all of this could not possibly be possible without a tuition-free school. Our parents had no money. They made it very clear to us that it was either going to be Brooklyn College
or no college.
They simply could not have afforded to send us to college.
We are grateful to our school. We are grateful to our professors. We are grateful to our friends who we met here at Brooklyn College, including Sam Leiter. Thank you. Thank you, folks.
Thank you.
My last, it's a hard act to follow, isn't it? My last pleasure up here is to introduce Martin Schreibman, class of 56, the 2010 recipient of the Milton Fisher, class of 38, Second Harvest Award, and who is a distinguished professor emeritus, a member of the Brooklyn College Alumni Association Board of Directors, and the post-50th Alumni Awards Committee. Martin.
I stand before you here as an alum, class of 56, and also as a member of the faculty with over 60 years of service to the college. I'm so in love with this place that I even married the alumni director, Marla Schreiber. So, enough about me. I'm here to present the Milton Fisher Award, class of 38, Mr. Fisher. Second Harvest Award is presented to an alum who has demonstrated exceptional achievements in creative or professional endeavors or public service subsequent to the 50th anniversary of graduation from Brooklyn College. The award, this is a good part, has a monetary component of $5,000 that the recipient designates for use to benefit Brooklyn College, either as a scholarship, a prize, equipment supporting a lab, a program, or a particular department. You can't use it for personal travel. Our awardee today is Carol Perry Parker, who I had the pleasure of meeting a couple of years ago, and I've been following her activities. She wrote the ham radio curriculum for the Board of Education, and she continues to remain active in amateur radio pursuits since her retirement from teaching. With a special interest in youth projects, she chairs the youth activity programs for 2 wireless organizations where she serves as director. She attends conventions, moderates youth forums, and travels worldwide, as I learned in a conversation prior. Her travel arrangements are booked for months and months. She moderates youth forums and in response to invitations to speak at conferences. Her work has been acknowledged with numerous awards. And I urge you to look at the booklets that you've received to see a more complete bio, not only for Carol, but all of the awardees tonight. They're really very special people. It's my distinct honor and pleasure to introduce Carol Perry Parker. Wait, I have a gift.
Good morning, and thank you, Martin. Any award that somebody gets as a validation for their efforts is terrific to receive. This one is very special to me, and that's because of who it's from. The wonderful poet Maya Angelou once said, "Long after we're gone, people won't necessarily remember what we did or what we said or what we accomplished, but they will always remember how we made them feel." Now, 3 years ago, when I came back to this campus for the 50th reunion, as I walked around the campus, I remembered how I used to feel coming to this campus. I was inspired, I was challenged, and I was empowered. That's how I felt here. And so, because of those feelings, I am especially honored to be the recipient of this award. I thank you all very much.
Did I tell you it would be wonderful to be here? Be sure to mark your calendars for next year. We've been getting a lot of 2018s in our mail already, and so my congratulations to all the awardees, but come back. We have amazing stories each year, and certainly today did not let us down. We are finished with this part of the ceremony, and you are going to go downstairs to the main floor where our luncheon will be waiting for you. One flight down? Okay. Will the people who have received awards, will you remain because they want to take a few more pictures of you before you go downstairs?
We're doing a few more.